Making a plan for how I'm planning on writing my novel in July ended up being the best decision I could have made because it was the most consistent that I've been with writing. For instance, I made my plan more so towards the end of June and I ended up writing 7,000 words. In July, I kept up with that plan and wrote another 11,000 words for a total of 18,000, a little bit more than that. And so in the past, with other book projects, I've gotten at most to 4,000 words, didn't know what else to write, gave up, started over, wrote a little bit, and then rinse and repeat. I just never really got past 3 to 4,000 words. So to be at 18,000 is such a huge milestone for me, and I plan on doing something a little fun for myself once I get to 20,000, just because that's a nice whole number and I'm almost there. But it's also just so significant for me because, like I said, the most I've written was 4,000 before in the past. And so, what did I do? Well, I talked about this in my mid year goals video, which I'll link up above. But essentially, I wanted to write 13,000 words every month so that by the end of December, I would have 85,000 words written, which is just about how much I want for my first draft, even though my entire book will probably end up around 100,000 since that's what's the norm. But I know that there's a lot of stuff I plan on leaving out of this first draft, such as a lot of detail, because I just want to get the book written and then go back and revise it later. So I'm really proud that even though I didn't hit 13,000 words this month, I did hit 11,000, and I'm only 2,000 behind, and I plan on making that up this month. And in a little bit, I'll explain how I'm going to have quite a bit of time soon to work on my novel compared to last month. So, the other part of my plan that really helped to write more than I usually do was also creating an outline, which is something that I typically don't find fun and is something that I haven't done in the past, which is probably why I haven't written more than 3 to 4,000 words in other book projects. But the way I did my outline for this book was really simple, and because I didn't focus on outlining every little detail of every chapter, I think it helped me stay motivated enough to keep writing, but I wasn't overwhelmed in the planning phase before I even got to writing. Because for me, the more exciting part is the writing, not the outlining. I always thought I was a full pantser, but now I think I'm more of a plantser because I can see the benefits of having at least some bit of an outline before you start writing. So, the way I outlined in July and the way I'm going to continue to outline this month is by thinking of the main conflict or event that I want to happen for the current phase of the book that I'm on. So, last month I finished Act 1. This month I'm working on a small part of Act 2, which is the fun and game section based on the Save the Cat structure. I plan on making that 10 chapters, but this month I'm just focusing on the first 5 chapters of it. But since I know I'm working on the fun and game section this month, or at least part of it, I plan on knowing the overall main event that the fun and game section is going to end on. And then I can think about small events that will lead up to that main event happening. And then from there, I'm just going to start writing. As I start writing, I can then go back and outline each of the 5 chapters, still very minimally. And as I continue writing, I can add more details to those chapters and to future chapters. So I really like this back and forth between a little bit of outlining, writing, outlining, and writing, because that really helps me generate ideas because I'm writing, and that's just how I stay creative, I think. But then I'm also working on an outline so that I know what to write next. And so having that overall main idea and then small events that lead to that main idea is what helped me last month with being able to actually keep on writing. So a little bit ago, I mentioned that I'll have a lot of time to write this month, Well, I'm going on a trip soon, and it's going to be a 20-hour flight there and a 20-hour flight back. And so during that flight, I plan on doing a lot of writing because there's only so much sleep I can do on a 20-hour flight. So I'm hoping to use that time to make up the 2,000 words that I didn't write for last month, plus work more on the words I need to get to for this month. And I don't see that being a problem because I have been very creative on plane rides before. So with my 40 hours total of being on a plane, I should be able to write a few thousand words. But I'm not going to stress out too much about it. I'm just going to make sure I have a relatively good outline because I don't want to outline and write on the plane. I just want to focus on outlining, especially since I'm not going to have both monitors. And I always have one monitor for outlining and one for writing. So I'm just going to be writing on the plane and that's it. So I have a bit of prep that I need to do before I take my trip. But along with having a plan and an outline, I want to show you all something that I think just made it a little bit more fun for me with writing each chapter. So here is my Notion calendar, and I have every date on here for when I want to finish each chapter. And you see these red circles, I click the checkbox and it turns green. And it's something that's really simple, but it's been really fun. So July has all these green check marks. Even though I didn't write 13,000 words, I felt like what I wrote was good enough for the chapters that have a little bit less than 2,600 words in them. So I felt like they were finished. But I know that for the fun and games section of my book, there's going to be a lot more detail. So I'm just adding in those 2,000 words into some of these chapters. But right now, August is all red because it's just the beginning. But I'm hoping by the end of the month, I have all of these green because that's just so satisfying to see. If there are things that you all do to stay motivated for writing, please let me know what they are down below. I love finding new ways to keep myself motivated.